Hi, I'm Bran, and I love 90s sports movies.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I love 90s sports movies.
I'm Dan, and I also love 90s sports movies, and this is the Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Da da da. Hi, everyone.
Oh, it's Mighty Monday.
Mighty Monday.
Mighty Monday.
It is taking off.
Yeah, it is.
People are going nuts out there about Mighty Monday.
It's flying. It's soaring.
Yeah,
Quack, quack,
I believe
quack.
it. I believe that it is.
The What the Duck segment in particular, people are loving.
People love What the Duck.
They love
Yes,
What the Duck.
and full transparency here, we're recording a little ahead of schedule. We just released D3 as of this recording, and we're still flying high off of the fact
we
that
are.
Coach Orion
Gave us a little share.
gave us a little share on the reel about him throwing that C on Charlie's jersey.
What a moment. What
Uh,
a moment.
That's big for us. It was did it really did it help the reel? Did it really take off? No. We're too busy with Dan's commentary on
The people of Nigeria love me.
Yeah.
They,
Have you seen this,
Pardon?
Ryan? Have you seen this?
Ryan just said pardon.
Pardon me?
We watched a movie made in Nigeria, and there's this version of Oh Holy Night that's amazing. in the
Oh, I
movie.
saw this. I saw the reel.
And
that reel
what
took off
did you
for me.
say? The number of minutes people have watched that reel?
I went to the insights on it, and that reel has been watched over 27 days worth.
Yeah, and it's me.
That's a lot.
It's me raving about, raving about this singer in Nigeria.
Our number one reel
Of all time.
is Dan raving about.
a Nigerian Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Was the movie any good, Dan, or did you just really?
The movie is
The movie's good.
It's about one it's got one story too many in it, but it is a quality movie. Yes, there's so many storylines of love stories, and you find enough to care about it,
There
and
you go.
it looks amazing. Like no expense spared on locations and wardrobe. So it's got way more hits than misses in it. Yes.
There you go.
Let's get that reel to 30
Let's
days.
get
Am I
that
right?
reel to 30 days. Yeah, let's do it.
We're talking Space Jam today, which is very exciting.
everybody.
One of
Rye Guy's top 10 sports movies of all time.
that's right.
Made the list.
Dan, before we started watching this movie, said we should have replaced Space Jam. Space Jam's the one we should have replaced. And I
Yeah.
said you wanted to replace one of Ryan's top 10 favorite sports movies.
And I forgot that was on the list. I honestly,
this was inevitable.
and I will say this is
After that diss
After
list.
this, we can just all get along, because I think the two major arguments we had were the D3 ranking and then
Sure.
Rye Guy throwing Space Jam on the top 10, not 90s, not kids, the top 10 sports movies of all time featuring the Looney Tunes Space Jam. After this, I think we can just hug it out. But top 10 sports movies of all time.
I mean, the Looney Tunes are featured rather
They're
prominently. in the
featured
film.
rather
Yeah.
prominently. Yes, they are.
big
Yes.
doings there. The Looney Tunes. Let's not delay it any further. We're talking Space Jam today. We know what you're.
Everybody get up.
It's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Space Jam. All right. It originally premiered, I believe, in the theaters.
Yes. I saw it there, guys.
November 15th, 1996.
Merry Christmas to all of us. Am I right,
That's
Bran?
exactly how you said it, brother. And it went a little something like this. A little Michael Jordan is up late playing basketball outside. His dad comes up and tell him that he can shoot until he misses. Michael says that he wants to play ball at North Carolina when he's older. He begins to run towards the hoop, jumps at it, and transitions to adult MJ jumping and dunking the ball. We then get a 5+ minute highlight reel of Michael Jordan clips. It could have been another hour, and I would have been in. It's so good. Michael Jordan then retires from basketball, and we transition to outer space. We're dropped into Moron Mountain, which is a struggling amusement park up in space, not getting the clientele they're hoping for. The owner, Mr. Swackhammer, which I for $1 million I could not have told you.
Guessed that.
Did you know his name?
I had zero clue.
That's what the internet said. Decide that the best course
His
of
first name's
action.
probably just like Dave.
Yeah,
Hi,
it's
Dave
Dave.
Swackheimer.
Hi,
Nice to
how you
meet
doing?
Yeah.
I'm Danny DeVito.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm smoking a cigar. It's
Danny
a kid's
Swackheimer.
movie. It's
Yeah,
fun.
you get it.
Mr. Swackheimer decides the best course of action is to kidnap the Looney Tunes to be a good attraction at the amusement park. That will bring the people in. So he sends these little monsters to go and hold the Tunes hostage before Bugs Bunny convinces them to allow them to defend themselves by challenging them to a basketball game. After seeing how small the monsters are, they feel confident that they can beat them in this game that the Looney Tunes do not play on a regular basis. After seeing a documentary about basketball and hearing that there are professional basketball players, they decide to go to Earth to steal the talents of one Charles Barkley, Shawn Bradley, Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, and Muggsy Bogues. They used the talents of these players to transform into giant baller versions of themselves. They are now called the Monstars. When the Looney Tunes see how big the Monstars are, they need a new plan. They need the greatest to ever do it. They need Michael Jordan. So they track MJ down on the golf course and pull him through one of the holes. And honestly, MJ handles this really well.
Really well.
He is he is in. He just needs them to get his sneakers. Back on Earth, the real NBA players realize they've lost their ability to play basketball, which causes the league to suspend play until they figure out what's going on. People thought COVID was the first time this ever happened. No. Did you hear about 96? It's time for the big game, and the Monstars dominate the first half. The Toon Squad is absolutely devastated. During halftime, MJ's assistant, Stan, who showed up earlier in the movie, learns how the Monstars got the talent. They took it from the players. There's no way that you can compete with this. This defeats the Toon Squad even further. And so Bugs pulls out MJ's bottle of secret stuff and says that this is if you drink this, you're going to be able to get some special powers. Turns out just water. They don't know that. It causes them to believe in themselves. Jordan then raises the stakes with Swackheimer because he's Michael Jordan, and that's what he does. If the Toon Squads win, the Monstars have to give their talent back to the players. If the Monstars win, Michael Jordan will spend the rest of his life being Moron Mountain's newest attraction. Honestly, a really, really bold bet. You know, you have a family, brother. Then they fight back until there's only 10 seconds left in the game. The Toon Squad is down to only 4 players because everyone else has been injured at this point. Luckily, Bill Murray shows up. Don't ask. After talking to Bugs, Jordan uses cartoon science, I guess, to stretch his arm, slam dunk, and win the game. After Swackheimer gets mad at the Monstars for losing the game, Jordan helps them realize that they only served him because they were smaller. Now they're bigger. You don't got to do what this guy says. Right. And they're like, oh yeah, you're right. They then give the ball, they give the talent back, and that's wonderful. And they send Swackheimer inside of a ship, I guess, and send him to outer space. The Jordan then brings back the ball with the talent, tells the players to put it on, and they decide that they're back to good. You know what would be back to better? Michael Jordan coming back to the NBA, which he does. And that, my friends, was Space Jam featuring the Looney Tunes. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to break this movie down with 4 segments here on Deck the Hallmark. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking Space Jam today, one of the top 10 best sports films of all time. Let's share.
We got to put that to bed. We got to do another one of those.
Well, let's share our thoughts on this movie. Rye, I would first like to hear if after this showing you had any second guessing on putting that in your top 10 list. Honestly, but also, I would like to hear your thoughts watching it this time for this year.
No, I mean, Bran, probably should have had it higher after watching this. Like, you know, yes, that's my bad. We haven't talked on
God almighty, man.
we haven't Almighty Mondays. We haven't talked on here before about how much I love Michael Jordan. I love Michael Jordan. To my right now, one of the four walls in my office is pretty much dedicated entirely to
you know what's wild is we haven't talked here, but I didn't know this about you.
Yeah,
I didn't know that you have like an affinity of I didn't know you love Michael Jordan. I didn't know.
I love Michael Jordan. He is, you know, in terms of like, you know, non-family related people in my life, you know, celebrity figures in my life. He's top 3. He's one of my heroes. I love Michael Jordan.
One of your heroes. Interesting word.
Fascinating.
He's one of your heroes.
Sports heroes, yes.
Like, based off of his play.
Yeah,
I mean,
on the court.
I like, you know, we're going to talk about all of this, but yeah, I got a full wall.
Well, Right Guy and I are both big Tiger Woods fans, and we know that off the course,
nobody's perfect, guys.
We wouldn't recommend Tiger to anyone.
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
That's right.
Nobody's. And so I love Michael Jordan since I was a kid. And as I thought about this movie, and I promise I'll get to my review in a second, I realized while getting ready to record this that Michael Jordan became one of my favorite. And I'm a kid of the 90s, so Michael Jordan was everywhere, right? But I really think Space Jam was my entry point to Michael Jordan, because I didn't really like sports as a 6-year-old when this came out. I don't start watching sports really until I'm like 9, 10, 11 years old. I got a Michael Jordan jersey. There's photographic evidence of this for Christmas in '96. That must be because of Space Jam, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
must be.
It's a month and a half later.
So, yeah.
I
don't think that that's a coincidence. I had never really honestly put that together until getting ready to do this. So all of that to say that I love Michael Jordan to this day. And I think that this film is probably a big reason why. I saw this in theaters and I vividly remember it. And here's what I'll tell you. I think there's a lot to like about this film. I think it's wild. I think there are 2 aspects of this, and I'm making a serious case for Space Jam.
Because I mean, I'm fine with you liking it as a 6-year-old. You know that like it was made for a 6-year-old.
Sure.
And the fact that this is 10 of 10 would recommend for a 6-year-old is 100% above board.
I'm going to get, I'm not going to do the thing where I just, unabashedly praise the thing I liked when I was a kid. Here is the argument
as
I will
he stands in front of his case
full of action figures. Like, that is your whole personality, right?
And that's why we love it.
Here is the serious case I will make for Space Jam. It's wild how much they took from Michael Jordan's actual life for this film. It is a very surprising choice, in my opinion, watching it through a 35-year-old's lens. They cover his father's death, his retirement from basketball, his gambling addiction in this film.
Kind of with the gambling addiction.
It works out for him in this case.
Yeah.
And when Warner Brothers was pitching this film to Michael Jordan, I am surprised he co-signed all of this about a film where he plays basketball with cartoon characters. And it's like somewhat a hybrid, not just a hybrid biopic, but all of these things, his retirement from basketball, the passing of his father, happened only like a year and a half.
Yeah. When he didn't want to talk, he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And when it happened, he didn't want to talk about it with anyone.
It's not like he makes a serious, gritty drama about these things. He makes a movie with the Looney Tunes. I think that's very meta and very wise.
And a big part of the movie is basically joking about how bad he is at baseball.
Which, by the way, he was actually better at baseball than they even portray him in this film. I'm not saying he was going to be a major leaguer, but he wasn't as bad as this film portrays.
202 hitter in single A, and that is not arguing your point or that he's bad. Anybody that can hit 202 is impressive, but also he never was going to be a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah, I mean, he probably could have with the strike, blah, blah, blah. That's not what we're here to talk about.
We're definitely going to get a down the middle observation of this movie from the guy who thinks with the strike, maybe Jordan could have been a scab and made the majors.
Have we talked about the strike?
Jiminy Christmas.
The other point I was trying to make during the top 10 sports movies this list, when I mentioned the Looney Tunes, is that what I think is really interesting about this film is that the Looney Tunes are playing the Looney Tunes. So to say that Bugs Bunny isn't Bugs Bunny from the Looney Tunes. The movie is saying that Bugs Bunny plays a character called Bugs Bunny, and that all of these worlds are colliding. So I actually do think that Looney Tunes being featured so prominently in this film, all of these decisions could have been radically different. It could have just been a paint by numbers movie where Michael Jordan does zany stuff with cartoons. I think the fact that they made these very meta, interesting decisions makes the movie interesting to view all of these years later. Is it perfect? No. Are there a lot of things that we need to talk about? Sure. But when I was 6 years old, Bran and Dan, and Michael Jordan walks off of that spaceship onto the baseball field, 6-year-old me said, well, I think this is like a true story.
Yeah.
I think this is really what happened when he went to go play baseball. And I wasn't the smartest kid. It wasn't until I was 11 or 12 that I realized that wasn't the case. So I thought it was real then. And Bran, it's still real to me. Damn it. I love Space Jam.
All right. I love that for you.
It's still real to me.
Rye Guy. It was a great hot take, all things considered. You got to rank it now, not on a sports list.
I know. I'm using
but
my
on a list
skip
with
this
the
week.
You're
not.
using your
No.
skip.
Three Mighty Ducks, Angels in the Outfield, Space Jam. I want to hear it because only one of those other 4 movies made your godforsaken top 10 sports movie list.
D3 was number 9. D3 was number 9.
You had 2 Mighty Ducks movies on top 10 lists?
I don't remember where I had Space Jam. I'll tell you this. I had Space Jam ahead of D3.
You did have Space Jam ahead of D3 if D3 was 9. Because I believe Space Jam was 6 or 7.
5 Mighty Monday movies, we've watched 3 of your top 10 sports movies of all time.
It's all downhill from
Been
here,
a great
brother.
month and a week for me here, let me tell you, Bubba.
What are you going to do?
I mean,
how are you going to handle this?
Per the diss list, it should be D2, Space Jam, D3, D1, Angels in the Outfield. Although I think I may flip D1 and Angels in the Outfield by the time we finish this up.
This is unconscionable. There's a crime being committed.
For right now, today, I will go D2, Space Jam, D3, D1, Angels in the Outfield.
You did it.
I admire you being
I am who I am.
Yeah, I admire the fact that you are living as a modern day 35-year-old, 8-year-old. I admire that you're doing it.
Done pretty well for myself, by the way.
You've done pretty darn well for yourself. I do admire it. I'm not doing a bit here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're crazy, but I'm not I admire it.
I hope you at least, Brand, I'll let you talk here. I hope you at least see the argument I'm making. Those are very interesting choices for this film to make.
This is the most sophisticated argument of I loved it when I was 6, so it's still great, damn it, that I've ever heard. That is, that's at the end of the day, that's still your argument. You were 8.
thought a lot about this.
It's not great, you're 8, but it's a sophisticated version of that as I've ever heard.
Appreciate that.
I do like Space Jam. It is a lovely film. I don't have the attachment to Michael Jordan, even though I love basketball. It is my favorite sport. I'm counting down today until
they dribble
the start of the
season.
season. I am giddy that Michael Jordan is going to be talking about basketball this year on NBC. And what does that mean? I'm very excited about that. But I didn't get to watch a lot of Michael Jordan. When I started watching basketball around 2001, MJ was playing for the Wizards. I've seen Jordan. I know how great he is. I was very excited to find out that NBA.com has a lot of classic MJ games. I'm just going to dive into those until October. But I do think that Jordan is the best to do it. But I've softened to that. I'm not as hard on that opinion as I once was. But that's not why we're here. We're not here to debate Jordan versus.
If you say that
Jordan
Oscar
versus
Robertson
James
is the best to ever do it, you still wouldn't be giving the hottest take that's been given so far on this episode.
I will say this. This is
Shout out to the Big O.
Yeah.
This is the best Space Jam movie.
Wow.
Easily.
So there is that.
I think it's close.
This is a really fun movie. It's a short movie. It's shorter than you think it is. Given the 5+ minutes highlight reel to start the movie, the 8-minute credit at the end.
Credits, yes.
We get to the game, the big game, before the 1 hour mark, which was shocking to me. This movie is fast. It goes. It knows what it's doing. It is funny. To your point, Rye, I also just believe that was Michael Jordan's family. I believe that this was Jordan's story because of how much they used about his real life journey when it comes to his father and the baseball and the coming back to basketball and all this stuff. And so as a kid, very confusing. It fed me a lot of lies about this individual because of how many truths there are. And so that's a fun thing about this movie. It was made in 96. It was made in the midst of all of this. And so it does have that like weird, like how this feels like it's a biography, a documentary that I'm watching about this guy. This is what happened.
Featuring the Looney Tunes.
Featuring the Looney Tunes. And it is, I did like one of the things that I enjoyed about this viewing is one of the things that you brought up, Rye. And it is like the Looney Tunes here. It's the kids are watching the Looney Tunes on TV. And we find out that apparently the Looney Tunes are just being live streamed 24/7.
That's right.
Because they have to leave and the kids are left. And so the Looney Tunes are like real, but they're doing
it's a weird meta thing.
It is a really interesting thing they do. And I like that. I like this movie. It is at the bottom of my list, but not all the way at the bottom.
It's not at the bottom of your list.
I have D3 at the bottom, then Space Jam, D2, Angels in the Outfield, Mighty Ducks at 1. But it is not, I would watch this over D3 almost any day of the week. Dano?
Yeah, so I have as much Michael Jordan fan cred as anyone in this conversation, aside from the memorabilia. I distinctly remember all 6 championships. I remember where I was watching the games. I remember very specifically Blazers, Lakers, Suns, Sonics. Sonic, Jazz, like all of these championships, flu game, the up and under, the 6 threes. I know Michael Jordan's career very, very well. I grew up loving the game of basketball. I played basketball. I thought I was going to be a professional basketball player. When this movie came out, I was 13 years old. Michael Jordan was what the game of basketball revolved around. College basketball was just not even hardly on my radar. I watched the NCAA tournament, but the NBA was it. It was my favorite league of my favorite sport when I was a kid. And the problem was I was 13 when the movie came out, and the movie, I didn't like the movie when it came out because I was just too old to really appreciate it in a way that I think Bran and Ryan did appreciate it. Now, did I think, I felt that, I will say this to you guys, this point about, I thought this was real. Obviously I didn't think it was real, but that opening scene of the movie, I did think that was somehow a video of his father. Like I was like, it felt so very real. This movie, the opening scene of this movie is amazing. Is not like good, it's amazing. It is a perfect scene that sets the story of this guy's career, and it transitions into 5 minutes of come on and slam, welcome to the jam with Michael Jordan highlights from his first 3 championship runs. And so the first 6.5, 7 minutes of this movie, which to be fair is not nothing. I calculate it's about 7% of the movie. The first good. The first 7% of this movie is a 10 of 10 would recommend. After that, it goes downhill in a hurry. Guys, there is nothing to this movie. It is such a nothing burger of a movie that without the end credits or the opening 7 minutes, it's like 70 some minutes long. And you've got Larry Bird giving lines of dialogue. And his back is in as bad a shape as his acting is. It's just there to capitalize on children loving the Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan. And it's there to sell toys, and it's there to make, like, literally this is the first feature film of the Looney Tunes ever. So it is capitalizing on the nostalgia of Looney Tunes from the parents that used to watch the Looney Tunes when they were younger, and the kids that now watch the Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan. Like, it never feels like anything more than a 70-minute marketing campaign, with all, with as many strings pulled as possible to get people in there as we possibly can. I didn't care then. I don't care now. And my problem is this, is I understand if you're 7, 6, 7, 8 years old and you love this movie. I think that that's great. In fact, mission accomplished, Warner Brothers. I have no problem if you have a soft spot for this movie now. The 4 movies we've watched so far are so much better than this movie. Like D3, the way that they filmed the hockey sequences in D3, Bombay giving a speech to save the scholarships, the captain's speech, like there are the other 4 movies we watched have some degree of quality that extends beyond what if kids love it. They just do. They all do. This movie doesn't have a live action performance worth mentioning that isn't Bill Murray playing Bill Murray. So it is Bill Murray gets some solid laughs in this movie because he's Bill freaking Murray playing an exaggerated version of himself. Gosh, most people in this movie are playing their themselves, cartoon and otherwise. The movie's abysmal. It is 6 minutes of solid, an hour and 20 of I can't believe this is still going on. I really don't like this movie. I understand and I appreciate why they did it. It was pretty historical for the time, not because of mixing animation and live action, but because of having a sports star lead your movie and featuring so heavily the Looney Tunes. I respect it and I understand it. And I think Michael Jordan is one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and his star and what he did for the game exceeds pretty much everyone else. I have to look at this as a movie, not as someone that loves basketball and love Michael Jordan. And as a movie, if you're under 10, good for you. If you're over 10, this movie doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up as a sports movie. It doesn't hold up as a kids movie. It doesn't hold up as a Warner Brothers movie. And it certainly doesn't even hold up as a Looney Tunes movie where there have only been 4 feature films. And I bet the other 3 are better. This is a bad movie. It is last. And knowing what we're going to watch, I can't imagine it not being last. I say that not trying to be mean, because I know that if you watch this, if you were 8, it's fair. It's fair that you love it. Gosh, this movie's bad. It's a bad movie, guys. And I love Patrick Ewing. I love Larry Johnson. I love all those guys. I never want to watch it again. Bad movie.
Well, let's get to all the feels as we're talking about what this movie gives feels. Let's start with you, Rye Guy. What are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot right now. Let me tell you.
I'm sorry, buddy.
No. The only thing I'll say real quick is I don't. Who Framed Roger Rabbit obviously did this and did it better.
Correct.
But like, I don't think the only counterpoint I would make to your argument, Dan, I respect it, is that I think the animation is pretty good. Like, and it's still Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out, what, 4 years prior to this?
I think right around 89 or no,
yeah,
early 90s.
That would be 6 years. Yeah. I mean, so, but not a ton have done it since then. And then I'm not here to tell you, I think Michael Jordan is, great in this movie, but the fact that he's usually acting opposite no one, I think he's not bad.
I think it helps. I think it helps a ton. And I think that I will say, here's my hottest take. The only reason that I would rank this movie ahead of Space Jam: A New Legacy is because that movie goes 2 hours long.
Yeah.
That there is no excuse for a 2-hour Space Jam movie.
And the Monstars are AI. Like that's.
I don't care about that. I think it's with like the times. I have no problem with the world that they're in and the computer of it all. And Don Cheadle is I have no problem with that. I like that maybe more than this. This movie knows where to exit stage right.
Space Jam 2 is literally twice as long. Also, if you want to think LeBron's the greatest of all time, that's fine. And he's very funny in Trainwreck. He's really bad in Space Jam.
He's really funny.
Michael Jordan is such a better actor in Space Jam than LeBron is in Space Jam.
I think I agree with you, but I've not seen Space Jam: New Legacy since it came out. So
he's really bad.
Any other feels, Rye?
Real quick, the soundtrack is a little complicated to talk about in 2025.
Yeah.
But as a whole, and strictly looking at it from a musical lens, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
And then we've talked a lot to that point specifically. That opening credits montage. Bran, you took the words out of my mouth. That could have been 5 hours long.
So good.
Give me the whole 69-point game against the Celtics just with the Space Jam theme over it. Like, it's incredible.
Anything else?
If you haven't ever heard Slamilton, which mixes Hamilton with the Space Jam soundtrack, everyone should check that out. It's actually a work of art.
Fantastic. I was reminded as I was watching this movie about a line as a kid that I thought was so funny, and I rewound it so many times as a kid. And I hadn't thought about it really much until I heard the line. And it is when what's his name? Freaking the duck.
Daffy Duck. The Duck is
not Donald Duck. Daffy
What
Duck.
duck?
Daffy Duck walks out as introduced and no one cheers for him, and he just says, "Let's all laugh at the duck." For some reason, as a kid, that worked so hard for me. I rewound that line so many times as a kid. Let's all laugh at the duck, and I got to be honest, still kind of works for me as a kid, as an adult.
The thing that worked for me in this movie was Bill Murray, and not only did it work because Bill Murray just showing up and getting the bit, but also because I didn't realize until this viewing how meta, he's famous for Caddyshack and being a groundskeeper on a golf course. And then him just showing up at the end of this movie, it's like, yeah, the groundskeeper of a golf course would know how to show up in the Looney Tunes world. And then him doing this big thing and be like, whoa, I don't play defense. Like Bill Murray lands in this movie. And I want to be very clear. He's not in it enough, but in his 4 or 5 scenes, even when he thinks he can make the NBA, which is so stupid, Bill Murray, everything, like it almost is to the movie's detriment how much Bill Murray lands, because if he's not doing his thing, you realize how incapable much of the rest of the live action cast is, sans Wayne Knight, obviously.
But much like Michael Jordan being able to make the majors, if the strike happened earlier, Bill Murray maybe could have made the NBA if the players didn't get their talent back. So we got to think that through for sure. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to get to the Wait What, the What the Hallmark here on
Deck the Hallmark.
I'm sorry, What the Duck. I apologize. I apologize.
Duck.
What the Duck.
Everybody get up.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, you got it.
That's fine. It's time for the Wait What. It's where we talk about what in this here movie made us go Wait What. A movie that is featuring the Looney Tunes. Right. What in this movie made you go Wait What?
Well, Taz isn't featured enough, I'll tell you. Like, where the heck is Taz? He's a 90s icon.
Still made his list top 10 sports movies with that lack of Taz. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. That's crazy. Imagine it if Taz was in it more. Number 1.
Oof.
Number 4, at least. Deborah from Everybody Loves Raymond should be arrested for negligence. She's courtside at this Knicks game, and she sees a man disintegrate. Before her eyes, right next to her, and then a bunch of strange things start happening, and she doesn't tell anybody.
In fact,
I don't know.
She doesn't. Not only does she not tell anyone, Rye Guy, she complains that her seats are lousy, even though she's in the second row, courtside. So her response to that trench coat disintegrated and moved into some beams under the floor. My problem is that character's shady, and so my seats must suck. Which I don't know how we get there. I don't know how we get there, but that's her complaint, which is crazy.
She could have stopped the whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Bran, you touched on this earlier, but it's pretty wild that Space Jam was more COVID conscious than the actual NBA was, they really saw it coming. Yet another. This one was unintentional. Very meta aspect of this film.
The biggest joke of this movie is David Stern shutting down the league. Like that would ever happen.
All
right, David Stern.
It is objectively hilarious that Michael Jordan's first reaction to Bugs Bunny's whole diatribe about why all of this is happening, what the stakes are. Hey, Mike, we need you for this basketball game. All these powers were stolen.
Amusement park. It's a whole thing.
It's Michael's first reaction. Isn't how am I here in Looney Land?
That's right.
It's I don't play basketball anymore.
Yeah. The thing you need to know most, Bugs Bunny, is that I haven't laced him up in years. That's what you need to know. Like
very funny.
Everything else about this I'd help you with. Cartoon Land, saving the other tunes, Yosemite Sam. But I don't
Hands are tied.
I don't ball no more. There's nothing I can do about it.
Hands are tied. I'm going to tell you in the What the Duck what Space Jam 2 is unforgivable for, but the one thing it gets right is that Lola Bunny is a far more three-dimensional character in Space Jam 2. Yeah, listen, I told you this movie's not perfect, Dano. I told you up front.
You have a top 10 sports movie where they sexualize a bunny? Is that what I heard?
I mean, it's not top 5.
If they didn't make Lola Bunny so hot, it would have been a top 5 movie for you. Is that what you're
But
saying?
in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, they sexualize a cartoon character named Jessica Rabbit, but she is human. Like she is a human
confusing
cartoon.
part of it. Yes.
But in this movie,
It's
they have
Lola
a
Bunny.
rabbit
Yeah.
who is the only creature in that universe that is sexualized.
Yeah.
Weird. Warner Brothers. Weird. And
I told you, I said Space Jam 2 did it better.
and she's very sexualized. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Space Jam 2 New Legacy for getting that one right.
Right. Did
And
you have a
then-
crush on Lola Bunny as a kid?
No. Why are you asking me that, Brand?
I'm just asking you.
Are you internalizing
Brother,
something?
I'm
Are
just
you
asking
internalizing
you.
something, Brando?
I'm just asking you, as a kid, did it work for you? Did Lola
How
Bunny
you
work
feeling?
for you?
How you feeling at 4 years
Yeah,
old?
I had a
watching Lola
crush
Bunny?
on Lola Bunny as a kid. You kidding me right now?
I love the just
Come on.
in the room where they're pitching. They're like, all right, so but yeah, Taz is not going to make much, and Lola's going to be super hot, right? We got to do that.
Yeah.
That's important
Yeah.
for the kiddos to have some weird feelings about this bunny, right?
Yeah.
We gotta
Can
do
we
that.
have her walk out with a silhouette where she's just really moving and it
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
confuses people?
What
Will
if
that
we
be
have
good?
a camera shot, and I know it's cartoon, that starts at her feet,
Big old
and
bunny
pans
feet.
upward,
Yeah.
pans
And then,
upward.
Do
Yeah.
we got any bounce chicka bow wow in the audio?
Yeah.
Hey, what if we
Yeah.
made Bugs go stiff as a board when he sees her?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but real
But it's
quick,
all like it's a
real
fun.
quick, he goes stiff. Real quick,
No one
his
will
whole-
read anything into
No,
that.
no,
It's
no.
fine.
And I know everybody's
Yeah.
got a jersey, and their shorts are long and their jerseys are long. What if her jersey's a midriff?
Yeah.
What if it's just a little tank that she's got on?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that. Yep, kids movie. Let's do it.
It's Lola Bunny.
That's Lola Bunny. And then last one for me, they kill Foghorn Leghorn, and they all just keep going.
That's right.
Nobody bats an eye.
I said.
R.I.P. Obviously.
That's how it
Yeah.
would. Let's be
That
honest.
racist mofo. Good.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that it, Ryan?
That's it for me.
Okay, great. I got a few. One, I just want to set this up. Okay, Bill Murray, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, they are playing golf.
Yeah, they
yes,
are.
we love it.
Yes.
Bill Murray tees off first.
It's a good one.
Hits a good one. Larry Bird hits second, hits a better one. Michael Jordan walks up, says, let's do closest to the pin
For dinner.
for dinner. He's the only one who has to go left. But Bill Murray at this point has already lost. And Bill Murray says, yeah, let's do it. Bill Murray has already lost closest to
Had
the
other
pin.
stuff on his mind.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, let's do it.
Well,
We're
you know
in.
what I've realized
What's
is that now that you and I were in lockstep, but I think what that meant was furthest away buys dinner.
Right.
So Michael can still be furthest away.
Okay, that's true.
He just said closest, but closest would get to a free dinner.
Okay. All right. You know what?
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Rescind, Brand.
I rescind it. Second. First, then, in this case. There is a joke about, there's a weird sequence in this movie, and you would even admit this is a weird sequence where they're playing the basketball
ain't
Jones
nothing.
as the basketball players are like trying to figure out like why they have lost all of their stuff, and there's like the guy who's being like, that's what's happening right now, like the deep voice, and it's a weird thing. Patrick Ewing is going to therapy, and the therapist asks him, is there anywhere else outside of basketball where you find yourself having find yourself being unable to perform? Again, it's a kids movie.
it's a kids
We
movie.
don't need this.
Yeah.
Classic Patrick Ewing. What can you do?
Between Patrick Ewing doing a sexual performance joke and Bugs Bunny meeting Lola Bunny and literally going stiff as a board,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yeah.
And I also kept thinking in my head, there's no way Ryan's going to stand behind the tape that it is, as a 35-year-old, a top 10 sports movie of all time.
I told you up front that it wasn't a perfect film.
But you know what? That's there's plenty of questionable stuff in D3 The Mighty Ducks as well.
This
though,
movie
for a kids
isn't a
movie,
top 10 Rocky movie, and there's only 9 of those.
so.
This is better than Rocky 5.
Maybe. It's close. It's close.
$10 Cobra Space Jam, Dan. What do you got?
What'd you say? Which one? Sandalwood Cobra,
$10
Space Jam?
Space Jam.
Space Jam.
There you
Space Jam.
I don't know about that.
Wow.
This is not a knock on Muggsy Bogues. I love Muggsy. We all love
Dude.
Muggsy,
How could you
right?
not?
We love Muggsy. But you can pick any point guard in the league to steal their talent. And you're going to go with the shortest one in the history of the game. That is a choice.
Yep.
If you're like creating a perfect team, you're picking the best of the best, taking their talents.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would pick the smallest point guard, even though he's a baller. We
Yeah.
love Muggsy. That was an interesting choice at the point guard
Can I
position.
Could have got Spud Webb and got at least some hops.
That's
you know?
true.
Yeah.
So there was this, Magic Johnson, who was a dear friend of Michael Jordan, left the game when he was HIV positive and then came back. But there was this weird window in the, I think he retired in 96 for the second time, right when this movie came out. It would not surprise me at all if Magic Johnson was the original point guard for the film. And then there was a lot of, unfortunately, there was a stigma when he came back to play that made him have to retire again. And it wouldn't shock me because it's so, you're right. I mean, Larry Johnson, but Shawn Bradley, like he wouldn't be in there.
He's probably. I think Shawn Bradley's just there for height, though.
But Shawn Bradley's worse than relatively than Muggsy Bogues is.
But I think it was more of a height thing.
But they had Ewing, who is a center.
Yeah.
But I think it shocked me. Michael Jordan's three closest friends in the NBA were Magic, Larry, and Charles Barkley. So two of them are in the movie. The fact that Magic, who is still kind of not, he's unretired at the time they made it, just weird to me. It feels like that should have been Magic.
Should have been Magic. Muggsy should have been Magic.
Magic, probably a top 5 player of all time, and just gets overlooked constantly. Neither here nor there.
Last but not least, you did mention Shawn Bradley. For as small as Muggsy is, Shawn is tall.
Yes.
When they take Shawn Bradley's talents, somehow he's unable to dunk.
Yeah,
and
that's impressive.
Listen, Shawn Bradley, he doesn't need to jump to dunk it.
He's just there.
What they did to these players is beyond just taking their talents. It is. This is a disaster. This is an absolute disaster. Dana?
Yeah. They show Michael Jordan playing single A minor league baseball, and they show him on the road one night, and he's in one of those, minor league baseball players don't get paid a lot of money, and they travel in a bus. They stay in these just like basic hotels. They show Michael staying in one of these basic motels, and I'm just calling BS. Can you imagine a guy that is at this point has already negotiated a sneaker deal that's getting him paid every shoe that's sold by Nike with his name on it? Can you imagine him staying? And maybe I'm wrong.
I think you are.
Can you imagine him staying at the team hotel? Did he do that?
There's that 30 for 30 Jordan on the bus.
Jordan rides the bus. I know that one very well. I still don't believe that every night
I wasn't there.
He was staying in the Red Roof Inn in the conjoined rooms. I can't believe, I just can't imagine Michael Jordan doing it. By the way, I cleaned out my garage, Rye Guy, and I found all of these Blu-rays and DVDs, and I have the original 30 for 30 box set on DVD.
Ooh,
I have that. I recently got rid of that as well.
And I've got it.
Is it the one that comes in a locker?
No, it came in that white box.
Oh, okay. The one that I had came in a locker, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jordan Rides the Bus might have been an original.
Jordan Rides the Bus was an original, so it was no crossover. Allen Iverson, and then the Reggie Miller time.
Winning time. Yeah.
Great one.
As a Knicks fan, it was tough.
I need to rewatch The Last Dance because I watched that
excellent
during
COVID, sleep deprived with baby, and so I remember really liking it.
Yeah,
but
it's the only one of those things produced by the guy that it stars that I believe is true. Because
objective enough.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. Yeah, he should have. If he was thinking about his image, he'd have cleaned up a lot of that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, He said, "Let's not talk about my marriages. Other than that, let's go to town."
But he also his best friend was his assistant who he was paying. He literally is honest in his omission that he doesn't have any friends. He's a terrible human being because he'd rather win than have any friends, and he'd rather win than have anybody talk bad about him. And that's what made him maybe the greatest of all time. And the documentary is astounding.
And that is why the Looney Tunes
didn't make the documentary.
Are free.
That's right.
The Looney Tunes aren't on Moron Mountain because of Michael Jordan.
That's right. You said
amen, brother.
This movie, he's actually only in Looney Tunes land for under a day.
Yeah.
And that was shocking to me watching on this viewing because his kids and nobody really ever looks for him. They just show up to the minor league game going, "I wonder where Dad is," and then he shows up on the spaceship.
Yeah.
So that means he gets to Looney Tune land, practices with the team and plays the game and gets back in less than 24 hours, which is, you want to talk about jet lag. I mean, that's crazy. I know what the time zone difference is. That's insane. They work in Michael Jordan's gambling in this movie in a positive light. I just needed to say this sentence. Michael Jordan, a notorious gambler, like on the road would be gambling on anything you'd gamble with him. He was, by his own admission, $10,000 and $20,000 blackjack hands. So not like I spent 20 grand at the blackjack table, one hand of blackjack where he would bet 10 or 20 grand. This is a kid's movie, and they just pepper it in there like, yeah, I'm doubling down. The Monstars have won all game. I'm betting my life on it. Which, to be fair, an accurate depiction on how cavalier he was with his family. Just was. I can't believe that. These kids of his discover the Looney Tunes in their house, stealing his memorabilia. So they're stealing Jordan 9s, which at this point are 2 years old. They're stealing Jordan 9s he wore probably in his last game. They're stealing his famous shorts. And these kids have determined, they've observed the Looney Tunes stealing the memorabilia, and they don't even think they need to bring it up.
Yeah.
They don't blink.
No, they don't tell mom. They're just like, well, the Looney Tunes came in and stole dad's stuff.
No.
Pretty normal.
See something, say something, kids.
Pretty normal stuff that happened. If the Looney Tunes wanted, they can have it. Of all the NBA folks they did get for this movie, throngs of NBA people, they couldn't pull David Stern. And I'm shocked by that, who never minded any sort of public media appearance to remind you he was commissioner of the league. The idea that David Stern couldn't be bothered. Maybe he wasn't asked because he was unliked, but it just seemed like a no-brainer that David Stern would be in this movie, and he's not in this movie.
If the theory about why Michael Jordan went and played baseball is true, then why would Michael Jordan want David Stern in this movie?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That was Dave's
but
punishment.
clearly he was back. He was back, and so there's that. That's all I got.
Hi, it's time for What the Duck. It is where we discuss things that we would still like answers to and whatnot in a fun and witty way. I will kick it over to you, Rye.
All Space Jam 2 had to do. When they announced Space Jam 2, I said, man, this movie could be absolute trash. But all they had to do, and this would have done a lot of goodwill for not just Space Jam 2, not just the Space Jam franchise, but for us as a human being kind. All Space Jam 2 had to do. That's yes. All Space Jam 2 had to do was finish out the film with Michael and LeBron playing one-on-one with the Looney Tunes watching in the bleachers.
And we don't get
that's
it.
all.
Yes.
That's all Space Jam 2 had to do. Now, I don't know. Maybe LeBron didn't want it. Maybe Michael didn't want it.
That's Michael.
Maybe nobody thought of this other than me, but that was literally the first freaking thing I thought of.
Do they even mention that this has happened before?
They mention that Space Jam existed.
Okay.
There's like 2 thinly veiled references to it. So it is technically a sequel. But like, why do you do Space Jam 2 if you don't, especially, again, to wrap everything around here, Space Jam, a very meta film, right? So why don't you finish Space Jam 2 with Jordan and LeBron playing one-on-one in the gym where he gives Patrick and all them their talents back? What a miss. What a terrible film.
That's got to be a Michael thing. I think LeBron would.
You think they'd have to have thought of it, right?
It is interesting.
LeBron desperately wants to be friends with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan wants no part of him. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was like my question is also, Space Jam 2 related. There is like this weird thing with LeBron and MJ, and LeBron doing all of these things and being like, see, I've done it. I'm the best, to then agree to do the thing that MJ did, 20 years prior.
Back to 23.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was just, it's an interesting move by LeBron. It was an interesting move by LeBron to be like, yeah, I'll do the same thing that MJ,
same exact
thing that MJ did. It's an interesting thing.
Also,
go ahead.
Sorry. No. The one thing we haven't mentioned that I do think is important context just for all of us, sorry to bring it up an hour in, is that to that point, Bran, Michael Jordan legitimately had a history with the Looney Tunes. Jordan and Bogues were doing ads together for years. And there was at least a reason, sort of,
him and
for
Bogues were
a
on
Michael
good terms,
Jordan
for sure.
Looney Tunes movie collab, because they had been working together,
They were
as silly as
collaborators.
that sounds, for years. Yeah. Whereas LeBron just did it because Michael did.
Well, I think it was a thing where LeBron's like, this is a thing a generational athlete gets to do.
Yeah.
And so that's how I'm going to show that I am that. If you don't,
But it's just interesting when you're all like, when you are constantly living in the shadow of Michael Jordan, to then be like, I will do the same movie that
Space
he did.
Jam: New Legacy.
Like, it was interesting. And like, clearly, it's not the first movie thing that LeBron has done. He has a movie studio, clearly something he's interested in further than just.
I was not surprised by that at all. But I get where you're coming
I'd like
from.
to hear like him talk. Maybe he did talk about it, but like any hesitation he had just because of that conversation always happening, which is who's the greatest to ever do it, blah, blah, blah. And how that, still as silly as it is, how does Space Jam play into that conversation? Dan?
My What the Duck's just going to be my take on who's the greatest of all time, because I have no interest in this movie anymore. I've been a Michael Jordan fan my whole life. I've always said he's the greatest player of all time, and I was not a big LeBron guy. Over the course of the last decade, I've very much softened on that stance, and I do believe it's an argument of longevity versus consistency. Every Michael Jordan fanatic will tell you he never lost a finals, he never blah, 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 and every LeBron fan will tell you, look at all of he's done over the breadth of his career. Michael Jordan walked away from the game twice. LeBron James never had. Here's what I will tell you is LeBron James is already the better human being. He's starting schools. He's giving of his time in a way that I don't think Michael Jordan is capable of doing. But I also believe that
faithful to his wife, if you care about those type of things.
I also believe that 20 years from now, when I'm in my 60s and these two gentlemen are in their 50s, the overwhelming majority of people in this debate, it will be laughable that Michael Jordan was considered the greatest of all time.
Wow.
That's my hot take, is 20 years from now, maybe 30, but by the time we're in 2055, the idea that LeBron isn't will be a minority opinion. Because we're still in the midst of what he's doing, and he's still putting up crazy numbers at the age of 40 and 30 years removed. Remember, Michael Jordan, when I was growing up, people didn't talk about him like he was the best to ever do it. I got like routinely put in my place by these old codgers who were like, Bill Russell's got 11 championships. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double. I'm telling you, in 30 years, LeBron James will hold this crown. Jordan people, whether you like it or not, you may as well just get used to it. In 30 years, LeBron's going to be the GOAT, and that's going to be the end of it.
There you go.
Isn't that just because so many people will be dead? Though, like, I mean,
could
like,
be, yeah.
Like, aren't all those Bill Russell supporters probably dead?
How about this? For anybody who's listening who decided to share this with somebody that cares about basketball, here are the two arguments I buy from both sides. The argument I buy from the Jordan side is LeBron is not as clutch as Michael Jordan. I buy that argument.
Facts.
I don't even think, I know we can't technically measure that in a real way in two different decades, in two different generations. I believe it with my whole heart. LeBron James is not as clutch as Michael Jordan. The argument I'll buy on the other side is that the NBA the NBA was not as good when Jordan played as it is now.
It was tougher, though.
Stop it. Stop it.
It was tougher.
What? No.
They played defense in the 90s.
I don't want to hear that. Half of LeBron James's career, the point average is lower than all of Michael Jordan's career. They play defense thing is just Chuck Daly.
You said you softened in the last 10 years, though. They don't play defense in the last decade.
Chuck Daly in the Pistons just would try to hurt people.
Brand, do they play defense in modern day NBA? Do they play defense in modern day NBA?
They switched to allowing a zone defense. It's going to be different. The defense is different. It's not as physical. That doesn't make it as effective or less effective.
Michael Jordan was getting Darth Maul to Qui-Gon Jinn in the 89.
And what would happen if they could have zoned him and nobody was shooting threes, Ryan?
What happens if Michael Jordan played today and was at the 3-point was worthy of his time, and Michael Jordan would have taken one off season.
Forget it. Listen. Forget the defense argument. The 12th guy on every NBA
Get
fan.
in here, Brian. Show him your chart. This is good stuff.
We're up against it. But Ryan, you would agree with me that the 12th guy on every NBA team works the 12th guy on every NBA team in 1989.
Sure, but some of that though is some of that's simple, just human evolution.
Okay, so
the
it's
game
better.
has like
there are more. The players are far more talented, top to bottom, now than they were back then.
But you will agree with me that if the 3-point was valued then the way it is now, Michael Jordan would have taken one off season, as he always did.
No question.
Would have become an excellent 3-point shooter.
No question.
And would have had however many more points.
No question.
No
question.
Okay.
I just don't want to hear.
I think we're agreeing just in a really loud tone.
No, I don't want to hear that the Utah Jazz and Phoenix Suns teams that Michael Jordan beat are somehow better than any team that LeBron faced in the finals, aside from maybe that one Mavs team with JJ Barea. They're not. They were slow and they were not deep, and they just weren't as good. And that
tougher game though would be. I mean, it's to me, it's apples and oranges to some extent. I hear what you're saying.
You want to call Merry Christmas? Sorry, I opened it up. It's on me. It's on me. I just want to talk basketball.
Next week we have
Love you, Dan.
done.
Love you, buddy.
We've done hockey.
Thank you.
We've done baseball. We've done basketball and baseball, and now we're doing the football with the Little Giants.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Come back next week for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.